Hey everyone, it's Kino here. Welcome to the Sun Salutations. This is the beginning of every yoga practice. In the traditional Ashtanga yoga method, we do the Sun Salutations to cultivate an inner fire. So as you move through these motions, you'll feel that your body heats up, your mind sharpens, and the fire represents the Agni, the fire of purification, which you kindle deep down in the inner body. This is, of course, the physical aspect of it, while at the same time there is the spiritual component. The Sun Salutations represent the dawning or the awakening of the inner fire, which is the light of knowledge, the light of awakening, and the shining of the true white light, which eventually you'll feel flooding forth and filling up your heart center. As you begin to practice the Sun Salutations, you'll notice that, just like an old friend, you get to know these motions real well, but at the same time, there's always room to dive deeper and explore new options, new perspectives, and new awareness. The Sun Salutations are the foundation of a complete practice. My teacher, Sri Kipatabi Joyce, Guruji always said that you could just do the Sun Salutations if you didn't have time or you were feeling sick or a little low energy. I don't know if everyone has the time to do the complete Ashtanga yoga practice every day. Certainly I don't. But we all have time for the Sun Salutations. If you learn these movements in as little as 5 minutes, you can get through Surya Namaskar A and maybe even Surya Namaskar B. You'll have within the Sun Salutations the elements of the complete practice, the foundational movements that will bring you into arm balances, strength poses, inversions, forward bends, even twists and back bends are all contained in their most basic building blocks in the Sun Salutations. Learn to appreciate these small, ordinary movements like the Sun Salutations, and you'll open your mind up to the extraordinariness of every moment of your life. We're going to begin with one sound Om, just to initiate the space of our practice today. Bring your hands together and inhale. Let the vibration open your heart and let your eyes gently open. Bring your hands down and come to Samastitihi. Samastitihi, the equal standing pose. Bring your attention down to the base of your feet for a moment and feel the bases of the big toes close by each other. Feel the emptiness rising up through the inner body. Activate the bandhas, that activation deep in the center of the pelvic bowl. Keep the belly tucked in. Another easy way to think about the bandhas, especially around the low belly, is to imagine that you have on a pair of skinny jeans and you gotta keep it tucked in, all right? So, the first breath is called ekam in Sanskrit, which means one. So we begin with one, the first breath, the beginning of the Ashtanga journey, as though ekam, inhale, is the beginning of the story of each practice, almost like you're saying to yourself, once upon a time in a land far away, the mystery of the practice draws you in. Ekam, inhale. Let's explore the inner journey together. We begin with this movement that draws energy down from the base of the feet, brings it all up through the center line of the body, and articulates that rise up from the chest through the shoulders, all the way out through the top of the head and the fingers. So in order to articulate ekam, you have to know how to raise the arms, because there are a million ways you could raise the arms, and many of them will lead you in the right direction. Many of them are also dead ends. Let's start off with understanding external rotation of the shoulders. So inhale and bring your arms out to the side. Pause here for a moment in a T shape, and then find your little fingers. Turn your little fingers up so your armpits start to smile forward or shine forward. Then spread your fingers wide apart and reach for the full distance apart so your hands spread wide apart. Imagine that you're looking up towards a glorious sunrise, and then bring the arms together above your head, gazing up at the thumbs. And then exhale, open the arms and let them rest completely by your side. So this is one movement that actually begins to help your whole body rise up through the center line. Using the external rotation of the shoulders, meaning the shoulders spin back, shoulder blades are down the back, and you rise all the way up, hands together. Helps you lift up through the center line and back in. Now, if you can raise the arms out to the side, you'll notice that the chest rises up. The one negative that can sometimes happen with this is if you're a little over enthusiastic about raising your arms, you can end up with a big back bend, which takes you off the center line. So we're looking to find the energy of the body rising up along the central axis and an external rotation of the shoulder joints. There are so many ways that we can find our way up to the pinnacle of Ekam. We can also try straight ahead. If you spin the arms forward and spin the armpits forward as you rise up through the center line, and then let the hands drop down. We'll try a third way to move into Ekam, starting off with your hands in prayer. Draw the belly in, rooting down into the bases of your big toes. Then inhale as the elbows track towards each other, shoulder blades down the back, rise up through the center line. Let's hold it up here for a moment and then come on back down. So now figure out which movement is best for you. If you feel comfortable raising the arms out to the side, this is a movement that if you're looking to increase flexibility in your shoulders, you may find that that's the movement for you. If you're looking to increase strength in your shoulders and work on your alignment towards the center, you may find that bringing the arms forward, whether it's straight out with the elbows or tracking through the center line, is the best way. If it's hard for your shoulders to find their sense of alignment, then I'd recommend you try to go straight out to the center. Pause for a moment and choose option 1, 2, or 3, and we'll begin. Ekam. Inhale, rise up through the center line, gaze up at the thumbs. Let's hold it for 5 breaths. Root down into your feet while you rise up through the center line. So there's an equal and opposite reaction. As much as you're rising up, you're also rooting down. And exhale, come on back into the center. Remember that there's not a right way to raise the arms. You're just trying to find that pinnacle of Ekam. Let's move on to the second breath, which is called Dwe in Sanskrit. Dwe is a descent into the inner body and is our first forward bend. The initiation point of all forward bends is down into the hip joints. So think about bringing the torso as one unit. As your hip joints move back, your pubic bone moves back. The belly draws in to the best of your ability. Now let's explore some different options for Dwe. Ekam, inhale, raise your arms. Dwe, exhale, let your hands drop down. And then as soon as the hands reach down, start to pull your pubic bone back as you suck the belly in. Reach your hands down. If you can't get to the floor, let yourself have a little bend in the knees to get the hands down. If you can reach to the floor, then flatten the hands and suck the belly in and come all the way down. So this is the second breath of the practice. The next breath, Trini, inhale, look up. And as you look up, this is very important to keep your hands as flattened to the ground as possible. Now, if you couldn't reach the ground, you want to touch as much of your hand to the ground as possible. But if you could reach your hand to the ground, don't pop up. Instead, root down as much as you can into the bases of the wrists, giving your wrists a little bit of a stretch and a strengthening at the same time. So this is the third breath that's meant to lengthen the spine, suck the belly in, give you access into the empty space of the pelvis. We'll take it easy, flatten the palms, and step back to the plank pose. Okay, plank is my favorite warm-up to the dreaded Chaturanga Dandasana. Let's hold the plank position for 5 breaths. 1. You want to modify by placing your knees down if you're feeling a little tender in your wrists. 2, or just a little weak today. 3, 4, picking it up if you can, and 5. Now from here, we'll do our first chaturanga, and this is the easiest chaturanga there is, my favorite modification, and my favorite chaturanga just for on those days when you're feeling, well, just a little lazy. Bring the shoulders forward, inhale, and here we go. Exhale, all the way down. All right, that wasn't so bad, huh? We're all the way down. Okay, being all the way down to the ground, this is the chaturanga that I like to call the chaturanga floor support, which means your belly's on the ground, you're super flat because you can't cheat the floor. Then draw the belly in, engage the thighs, and we'll hold it for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give a little chaturanga test. So inhale, see if you can take it up. Exhale, flatten back down. The flattening back down part is really my favorite part. I kid you not when I say this is my favorite chaturanga, and I still do this every day. Okay, since we're down here on the floor in chaturanga, let's take a look at alignment. You may be feeling your back working when you're here. Whenever you feel your back muscles overactivating, the solution is squeeze the abs. So squeeze your abs, pull them in, and that should alleviate some of the tension in the back. Let's look at the shoulders. Take your left hand, I want you to point at your right shoulder. The corner of your shoulder in chaturanga, super important, should always point forward, never down. If you point at the corner of your shoulder and it's down, you're going to predispose yourself for injury in your shoulders, and your elbow is going to wing out to the side. So pull back with the elbow and point that corner of the shoulder forward. This is harder, but necessary. Next, we'll take a look at the hands. Throughout the practice, always keep a mind of what's happening with the shoulders. If your hands are too far forward, your elbows are going to be down, so you won't be able to do the pose. However, if your hands are too far back, you may strain your wrists. So in the beginning, I'd recommend you take your hands aligned with the sternum, so the fingers don't go too far past your sternum and behind the collarbone. So that's a good place to start off for chaturanga. Abs in, thighs strong, inhale up. Exhale down. Okay, we're going to find our way to upward facing dog. First, easy upward facing dog. Point your feet from where you are, walk your hands forward, and then inhale, press up with the shoulders. Keep the hips back of the arms, so you're giving yourself space, and then lift the chest up and forward so you maximize the space. If when you press, you start to feel a compression in your back, I want you to keep the elbows bent and drag yourself forward, thinking about maximizing the space between your ribs and your hips. You're using a little bit more muscular work and a little bit less skeletal structure here, but you need to develop the strength in order to be able to straighten the arms. So this is our first easy upward dog, whether your elbows are bent or straightened. Then come onto your knees, walk the knees forward, keeping your hands shoulder width apart, curling the toes under, and we'll take it into a nice, easy downward facing dog. Press your hips back. Now, what will happen is that you may want to take a little walk in to shorten the distance so that you can feel like you're more grounded in your feet, and just kind of wiggle your dog. So you're like walking the dog a little bit right now, and just test out your hips so you can walk your dog, right? And just bend your knees, walking the dog a little bit, testing it out. Then stabilize the dog. So it's like you tell your dog, stay. And then keep the belly drawn in, and we'll stay here for a couple breaths. All right. So you may notice that as you were bending your knees, you're not able to straighten them. What's most important from here is that you keep sending the hips back, even if your heels don't touch the ground. Especially if your heels don't touch the ground, don't come up onto the balls of your feet. Instead, press the heels back as much as you can. Watch out for your shoulders in downward dog. If your elbows wing out to the side, you're going to compress the neck, straighten the arms. If the elbows wing in too much and the shoulders wing in too much, you compress the neck. So shoulder blades down the back, straight arms, gazing toward either your kneecaps or all the way towards your belly button. All right, let's look forward. Press from the arms, step, 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 walk yourself in. And this is Sapta, inhale, come forward, which is the same movement we did before. Ashta, exhale, fold, chest over the thighs, down. Nava, inhale, rise up through the center line. Samasthitihi. Come on back down. This is Surya Namaskar A. Okay, we're going to do it again. See if we can increase the demand. So if that was quite challenging for you and you feel like that already presented a lot of lessons, that's the version of Sun Salutation A that you're going to do. However, if you're ready for a little bit of a challenge, we'll add in a full chaturanga and a full upward facing dog and a little hop forward, a little hop back. Don't rush the journey. If you're not comfortable in Chaturanga Dandasana, don't try to jump into it just yet. Build the strength over a few years of practice. Okay, here we go. Ekam, inhale, raise the arms, look up through the center line. Dve, exhale, belly sucks in as you fold forward to the best of your ability. Trini, inhale, lift the chest, and then to jump back, bend your knees, flatten the hands. You can even move the hands a little forward, but not too much forward, all right? Flatten the hands, make sure the wrists are down, draw the elbows in, bend your knees, push with the arms, and send the hips back. Little hop, and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, come forward to upward facing. So here we are in upward facing, big push with the shoulders, sending the hips forward, and exhale, roll over your toes this time, and press back to downward facing. Walk your feet gently in if you need to, but stabilize yourself in downward facing as the belly sucks in. A couple of breaths here. 2, 3. Remember that deep resonant breath with sound. 4. And 5. Looking forward. Okay, bring your knees together. Press from the shoulders, and then we're going to take a little hop forward. Don't try to jump up, just jump into your shoulders. Bend your knees, belly inside, tighten the lower abs. Inhale, jump. Come and land with your knees bent so you don't stick the landing. Then straighten your legs. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, fold. Nava, inhale the 9th breath. Come on up through the center line. Samasthitihi. Good. Let's do another one, and let's spend a little bit more time on how you get back to Chaturanga Dandasana, okay? So here we go. Inhale, Ekam, raise the arms. And away, exhale, dive down into the inner body as you fold. Trini, inhale. Bend the knees, hands to the ground. Press the shoulders. And Chatwari, exhale, little hop back. Hold it for a moment. Bring the shoulders forward to lower down to Chaturanga. You can either go to the floor like we did before, or you can make a big push up with the shoulders and slowly bend your elbows. Drop the elbows back as you lower down. Control it, control it, control it. Then slowly straighten the arms, roll over the toes, send the hips a little forward and lift your chest up and forward. This version of upward facing dog, you keep your head straight and just look straight ahead so that the belly draws in, the arms are straight, tune into the inner body, keeping yourself sucked in through the center line. Maximize the space between the ribs and the hips, then roll over your toes, press all the way back to downward facing, taking a little step in if you want, tuning into the inner body as you draw into that inner space. Nice deep breath in, nice deep breath out, tuning into the inner body, finding your rest in downward facing dog as you lengthen the breath. And dropping your attention down, reaching the heels towards the ground, straightening the elbows, switching your gaze forward. Press from the shoulders, bend your knees, inhale, little jump forward. Lift the chest, look up, and Ashto, exhale, fold. Nava, inhale, rise up through the center line. Press the palms, Samasthitihi. Last one. Ekam, inhale. Dwe, exhale. Just go down to the best of your ability. Trini, inhale, lift the chest. Step if you want to jump, jump. Chatwari, exhale, Chaturanga. Pancha, inhale, upward facing. If you want a little extra, you can send the chest forward, dropping the head back. And Shat, exhale, downward facing. 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4. You may notice your breath is slower or faster than mine. Don't adjust. Let your breath be as it is. And 5. Looking forward, bend the knees, press from the shoulders, and Sapta, inhale, little jump. Lift the chest. Ashto, exhale, fold. Nava, inhale, come on up, press in the palms. Samasthitihi. Alrighty. So, Surya Namaskar A is the easier one. The bad news is that there's Surya Namaskar B, which is a little bit harder. We have to integrate 2 new movements, Utkatasana, the chair pose, and Virabhadrasana, the warrior pose. Let's go through nice and slow for the first one, and then we'll break it down and get comfortable with it, and then bring it up to its full pace. Bend your knees. So Ekam, the first breath of Surya Namaskar B, is with your knees bent. You're going to enter and exit this pose with bent knees, activating your quadriceps. Hands in prayer. Sink down into the hips, and then inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold down into the hip joints. Bring your hands to the ground and straighten the legs. This is the second breath. Then Trini, inhale, lift the chest forward. The shoulders are strong. Let's take it super easy and just step back to plank, plank down, Chaturanga. So this again is my favorite Chaturanga. We get to basically rest on the ground. Awesome. We're going to keep it easy. Point the feet and easy upward facing, elbows bend to maximize the space. Bend the knees and exhale, downward facing. For a nice easy version of the warrior pose, to step forward, turn your left foot out and then just glide your right foot forward, taking an extra few moments. If you need a little assist with your hand, you can help your foot forward. Pause for a moment, come up onto your fingertips. Feel your legs, root down through the legs, belly sucks in, knee over the ankle. Inhale, crawl up and find your legs. After you find the legs, hands in prayer. Then inhale, raise the arms, gazing up at the thumbs. And exhale, just one breath, thumbs to your chest, hands to your thigh. Go ahead and crawl down so your hands are on the ground. Spin your left foot forward and step it back to plank. Inhale, exhale, chest down. Point the feet, nice and easy. Inhale, easy upward facing, just a nice easy lift like you're extending the spine. Roll forward with the knees and downward facing. Do the same thing on the left side. Start off with the right foot. Then glide that left foot a little forward. Keep gliding it forward. Use your hands to guide it forward if you need. Then root down into the legs, come up onto the fingertips, and then guide all the way up, holding onto your knees. So you kind of crawl up. Belly sucks in, hands in prayer. Inhale, raise the arms up. Find that pinnacle moment and then straight back down. Go ahead and crawl down using your body as a little bit of a signpost, shoulders forward. Step it back to plank. Exhale all the way down to the ground. Then easy inhale, upward facing. Exhale, roll the toes forward, downward facing. So that was a whole little journey. Now we get to stay in downward facing dog for 5 breaths. Take a moment, wiggle out and walk out your dog if you need to, and eventually come to a resting point. As you get more proficient in the practice, you won't need to wiggle or walk the dog. That's just if you're newer and getting acquainted and building a relationship with your downward dog. After your dog is trained well, it knows exactly where to go, and you can just breathe, tuning into the body. After about 5 breaths, press from the shoulder and nice, easy, we'll walk it forward. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold forward. Bend through the knees, sending the hips back. Come on all the way up. Ending in that same position we started. Come on back to standing. One of the only things you really want to watch out for when you're going through Surya Namaskar B is when you start off, you want to avoid sweeping the ground to raise your arms. So as you bend your knees, if you just raise the arms right up, this is a way to help you find your way into that alignment a little bit better. It's just that little bit more clean. So you could modify however you need to modify, chest down, but the idea is that the structure of the practice should always keep its integrity. Let's try again, and if you want to stay with that basic version, stay there. But if you want to increase it just a little bit, we'll hop forward and back. Okay? So bend the knees and raise the arms. Gaze up at the thumbs. Exhale, fold forward, go down. Inhale, chest up and forward. Exhale, press from the shoulders, little hop back. Plank down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Easy second version of upward facing for now. Exhale over the toes, downward facing. Now if you can, turn the left foot out, step the right foot all the way forward, knee over the ankle and press into the legs. Come right up, palms press. Exhale, go right down, shoulders square forward. Step the right foot back, exhale, lower down. Inhale, easy upward facing, number 2. Exhale, downward facing. Step forward with the left foot, all the way forward. Root down through the legs, rise up through the center line. And exhale, square off the shoulders, come forward and chaturanga. Inhale, come forward to upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Walk your feet in, settle your dog, and pause. Okay, nice deep breath in, deep breath out. Tune into the inner body for a moment and feel the heat. There should be heat and fire kind of coursing through the body. Don't run away from it. If you're sweating, awesome. Let yourself sweat. Feel the sweat. Don't resist it. You don't need to wipe the face every time. We're almost done. Take another deep breath in. Another deep breath out. Switching your gaze forward, bring the feet together, press from the shoulders, and inhale, little jump forward. Lift the chest, look up, and exhale, fold forward, go down, bend through the knees, sending the hips back, raise the arms, press the palms into each other. Samasthitihi, back to standing. Okay, we've only got one more. I'm going to count you through the traditional Sanskrit in this one, and we'll go a little bit more at the full pace. Don't feel overwhelmed. You want to build up to this pace over consistent practice. Bend the knees. Ekam, inhale. Dve, exhale, fold. Trini, inhale. Chatwari, exhale. Pancha, inhale. Shat, exhale, downward facing. Sapta, inhale, right side warrior 1. Come on up. Ashto, exhale, all the way down. Chaturanga. Nava, inhale. Dasha, exhale, downward facing. Left side, Ekadasha, inhale, all the way forward, arms up. Warrior 1, left side. Dwadisha, exhale, go down. Trayogdisha, inhale. Chikturdisha, exhale. 5 breaths. Catch your breath. Deep, steady pace of inhalation and exhalation. Again, inhale. And exhale. Feel a sense of peace come over your body. Feel a sense of peace come over your mind. Feel a sense of peace rest in your heart. And switch your gaze forward, little jump forward. Panchadisha, inhale, jump. Shodisha, exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Saptadisha, inhale, press your palms. Samasthitihi. Pausing for a moment. Okay, you did it. 5 Surya Namaskar A, 3 Surya Namaskar B. This is the normal tradition of how you would do these sun salutations. And now the best part, slowly come on to seated. Just easy cross your feet, come on to seated. So now, as we begin to move into a consistent practice of the sun salutations, I have a little homework assignment for you. If you feel inspired, I'd like you to memorize these so that while you can use the tool of this practice course, I'd like you to take the responsibility for the practice into your own heart so that it really is your own personal practice. So as a homework assignment, memorize the 9 movements of Surya Namaskar A and the 17 movements of Surya Namaskar B. And once you do, commit those poses and that order of the sun salutations to memory. You'll find a sense of peace. You'll find a sense of tranquility as the practice really begins to be yours. Take a moment, close the eyes. Bring your hands together and inhale. Take a moment, tune into the inner body. And we'll end with the sound Om. Keep the seed of inspiration and start every day in every practice with the sun salutations. Namaste.